All right, family. Black Power. Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all live with the general. You rocking with the best. We got dialogue, commentary, analysis on international, national politics, culture, history. You rocking with the general. Before we get started, I want you to click that link at the top of the chat. Get on over there to Patreon, man. We got the ancient Egyptian origins of solar power and electricity, man. The things that they're hiding, the things that they're seeing on these temples and tombs, not revealing to the people, is mind blowing. There was nothing beyond the ancient Egyptians. Everything you see today comes from the ancients. You need to get over there, check it out. This is a mind blowing presentation. Also, the ancient Egyptian origins of the Jedi Knight. We got to talk about the occult Jed pillar, the spine of Osiris, the mastering of the seven chakras. The knight is the mastering of melanin divinity. Get over there, family. We got powerful, powerful presentation that you cannot get nowhere else. Oh, that's right. Let's get busy, family. We're talking about today a violent version of foundational Black Americans is popping up all over Africa today, and it's sad, and I'm gonna tell you why it's sad. Because niggas will not attack the root cause. They will not attack the root cause. They always, a symptom, a symptom of what's going wrong. See, they go somewhere where it ain't gonna change no reality or what the fuck is really going on. Ain't gonna change no reality because today a lot of African people want to blame another African, and for their demise. Now listen to me when I say this. I'm very clear that some niggas can be disgruntled, can be can bring turmoil, can bring chaos with them when they come. Now that's totally understandable. You see, that's totally understandable. If you come into another man's house and you bring muddy shoes into another man's house and you wipe your muddy shoes on another man's rug, of course he gonna be upset. And if he wants you out the house, then you did that. You got to hold that. But the blaming the other blacks, the foreign blacks that come into the house for your economic demise when you was already in economic demise long before they got there. You've been in economic demise. You ain't just got in that economic demise, and so now they done showed up. But not and don't speak on. And this go to South Africa. This go to Black America. You see, damn near in the same predicament. Damn near a mirror image. They didn't stole everything from you. Nobody's denying that. They didn't took your land. They didn't took you ain't took nothing. You ain't have it. You were trying to get it. You really didn't have you got a little land, had nice land, and you worked. Didn't nobody give it to you. You worked for it. And you had some almost close to 20 million acres. Now nigga ain't got a vacant lot. You ain't even got a vacant lot. All the land gone. The cities is pillaged. You had cities worthwhile and shit. But nevertheless, today, most of the cities are in a disparate state. That's what it is. And so people don't want to accept responsibility for their own demise. And so they look around, they want to blame. And like I say, this is not taking responsibility for Africans that come into another man's house and be disrespectful. And see, that's fucked up because then the stigmatization is attached to other Africans trying to come in who very well may want to do the right thing, but after a while, once you keep getting enough of these disrespectful types, and then that becomes the stigmentation. And so that becomes the brush that everybody use. And so everybody gonna get, they're gonna get brushed with that, that stigmentation. And so that's what it is. But what we're seeing today in South Africa, and not just South Africa, because we seeing that it's happening in Ghana, and a lot of people want the illegals up out of there. Okay. And now, if you're illegal, you're illegal. That's just what it is. That word means a whole lot. If you're illegal and you're not going by the rules of the nation, you're breaking the law. That's a crime. That is. That's a crime. But we still have a way of dealing with shit. We can't be looked at as savages, where we gonna whoop motherfucker just because they overstayed a passport. And we ain't putting no hands on these Neanderthals, and they done took the whole pie. You see, they done took the whole pie. You see, so I got videos. I want to show you this video. It's a very, prepare yourself now. I want you to prepare yourself because it's crazy, Nah, I'm gonna let it play. Now that motherfucker gonna whoop ass and then start blowing tunes and shit. He gonna sing a song. Yeah, they didn't mob, look at this shit. Now, you can't just pummel, you're gonna pummel the man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna beat the man ain't even fighting back, man. Be a motherfucking man. You know what I'm saying? Once you done lump the motherfucker up with a 3-piece, you know what I'm saying? And then everybody, you didn't lump the man up with a 3-piece. You see, the man ain't even fighting back. That's over and beyond. And the crazy thing about it, y'all ain't never put no hands on no Neanderthal. I want to see y'all niggas out there. I don't care what country you in. I want to see you knuckle up and peace one of these Neanderthal. I want to see y'all mob. Y'all going to y'all going to these black foreign stores, and you saying they illegal. Okay, whatever. The damn Boers and the Afrikaners and them Dutch down there is illegal. You see, I want you to ride on them. I want you, I'm just saying it is what it is. I want you to go on down there to the Boer shop. You see, because they're gonna whip them things out on you niggas. That's what's gonna happen. I didn't see the video. They're gonna whip them things out on you niggas and bust shots, and you niggas was running and fleeing. I seen the video. You see, so yeah, this is punk shit because you whooping somebody you could whoop. You come mob down on the man with 1,000 people. The man can't even defend himself because if he try to fight back, y'all gonna kill him. Y'all gonna beat him damn near. The man is being pummeled. You know what I'm saying? And I can, you whoop a man, damn, if you see a motherfucker ain't gonna defend himself, man, you just gotta, get your ass on up out of here. You piece of motherfucker of 3-4 piece, and the man ain't even fighting and shit. You got to let the man go. You know what I'm saying? Go on, get your ass out of here. But y'all want to whoop the man and and beat the man. And see, this is the savagery that that's where we didn't win above and beyond. We didn't win into savagery because you could still achieve certain, whatever it is you could achieve. You don't want illegal immigrants, but you're not the law. You're not the law. The law supposed to do that. It's on the law. You can't deport no nigga. You see, you go down there to the airport, you can't even get in the airport, nigga. You see what I'm saying? How you gonna deport somebody? You ain't got no planes, nigga, to deport nobody. You see? And so on this one, they be getting bricks and shit and this, that, and the third. Yeah, and that's why, it's this phobia that's going on all over, where our people's is, because they won't deal with the root cause of everything. You see, our people have developed have underdeveloped. You see, for hundreds and hundreds of years, stagnated and really don't know what the fuck to do. You see, everything they do, they wait on the politicians to, do what they say they gonna do, but never get done. Ramaphosa been saying he gonna, but not just Ramaphosa, because it was supposed to been done before that, under Mandela, under the next guy that, and people talking about, South Africa unemployment and shit and that, this, and it is the highest it ever been, but your goddamn unemployment always been high before the niggas even got over there. Shit, goddamn, it was high under apartheid. It was high forever. Shit, it been high. It ain't just you. It ain't like you niggas had jobs and you just lost jobs. You ain't had none from day goddamn one. You ain't never had no goddamn job. You see? So don't blame that the people, yeah, I can understand that you feel the weight, but see, a lot of times the weight comes not from, the Africans that's coming in, and if there is, I see some shit that ain't right. And I do see some shit that's not right. And I do. You see? And I do. I see that it's not just the Africans, it's the Pakistanis, it's the Bangladesh, the Indians, all of them in there. And I understand the weight that's on South Africa. But the thing is, y'all have allowed for shit, it's just and should have took it to their ass long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Should have took it to him when Mandela, but that's why they got Mandela out of jail, to calm what that storm that was brewing, because they, it was South Africa, probably would have took over a long time ago. You see, but at the same time, just because you take over some shit don't mean you gonna run it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but looking at the mind state of our people, it's a lot of niggas that's running shit in Africa and they running it all fucked up. It's the same mentality, running it all fucked up. Got the nigger phobia and shit, because they think just like Europeans, oppressive, elitist, hoard the wealth and shit. No less as if a European was in power. No damn difference. So it's the mentality of the people. You see. Nah, if you don't agree with it, I understand people, saying that people's is in there and they doing this, that, and the third, but it start with the shit that's gonna make the biggest difference first. Whooping a nigga, whooping a brother like that, what the fuck is that's gonna change? That ain't gonna change shit, bitch. You gonna wake up tomorrow, you still gonna be unemployment, gonna be 33%. Goddamn 1/3 of the damn country is unemployed. Ain't a goddamn thing gonna change. So you could whoop that man. But if you get at the powers that be, if you get at the Oppenheimers and you get at Rupert and you get at all them, the Elon Musk and all of them that own every damn thing, you see, and hoarding the land and shit. 70% of the land, the damn Bangladesh, the Indians own more land in South Africa than the indigenous. That's where you got to start at the top. You know what I'm saying? You got to start at the top. That's going to make the big difference that you're looking for. And because we got to build up our courage to look that beast in his eye and deal, and the frustration is causing you to look at the bottom, which ain't gonna change a goddamn thing. You could whoop them, you could put the immigrants out, but if the motherfucker's still not gonna come up off the land, if he's still not gonna provide for you jobs, and you know, understand, when they leave, you're gonna be in the same fucking predicament. You got to deal with the root cause. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why a lot of them, that's the Bangladesh, the Pakistani, the this, the that is coming into is still the root cause. These people want to ignore you. They want to you understand what I'm saying? They want to marginalize you and shit to it. So you're gonna have to deal with that. And that's gonna change shit. You see, that's gonna change it. But I seen a couple of family run up on some Bangladeshis. They did run up on them, you know, but y'all ain't whooping no heads and shit like that. But anyway, family, we're gonna move forward. We got a hell of a lineup, and our people got to learn. We can't be seen on camera and shit whooping black people like that, but you ain't whooping no Neanderthal. No sir. No sir. No sir. You don't get no respect from me. Even if the nigga was over there, you still don't get no respect. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't have ample time to deal with that Neanderthal. Same with these niggas over here. Nigga, they want to talk about them, and this cracker been fucking you over long before these goddamn immigrants came. Been fucking you over since you been over here. And you ain't did shit about it. And now you want to scapegoat off on, you know, the immigrants and shit and this, that. They say, well, fuck it. If the nigga don't want to rise up, maybe I'll come over here and I know how to get in here and get a couple dollars. I know how to get in here, finesse this motherfucker, get a couple dollars. You mad because motherfucker, you want to beg for everything. These motherfuckers come over here, finesse a motherfucker, and come up with a couple billion and this, that, and the third. You get mad at the nigga, and I understand why, but the reason why you ain't got no energy to do nothing other than beg for it. Maybe if you get up off your ass and start, getting more aggressive about what it is you trying to achieve, motherfuckers might fear you, but they don't even fear you, nigga, because you ain't never showed that there would be punishment for not giving you what you asked for. We not voting for you. Big deal, nigga. That's your punishment. I'm not gonna vote for you unless you talk about reparation. Well, nigga, you ain't gonna vote because ain't none of them gonna talk about it. And one gonna lie just to get the vote. Do you understand? And when they get in, they ain't gonna talk about it because they know a good and goddamn well the Congress ain't gonna back them up if they did. So there it is. There it is. All right, family. Stay with me. We're gonna keep moving. Patreon, get on over there. We got it for you. Let me get that one on. We got it for you. The ancient Egyptian origin. Let me get it in there. Let me get in there. Of solar power and electricity and the ancient Egyptian origins of the Jedi Knight. We got that file over there. Be in the house. All right, family. Black power.